Hi, I'm Reverend Chris Moore with Foothills Chapel, and we have been having so much fun with our Pinterest account, I thought I'd make a YouTube video out of it. Because there are some awesome wedding decoration ideas that are on there. You know, they just come from the brides and grooms that come into Foothills Chapel, and I just take a picture of them and stick them up on Pinterest, and there you go. So if you want to go to Foothills Chapel and look at these with me on Pinterest, I can share a few thoughts about some of these weddings. The one that I see right now, a Halloween wedding cake. And if you look at it carefully, you'll see skulls and you'll see all kinds of Halloweeny things, but it's also a very beautiful cake. If you look at it very closely at the top, the bride and groom are actually kissing each other. They're skeletons, but they're also in a nice wedding dress and the tuxedos and things like that. This fits one aspect of a wedding. If you want to make a wedding awesome and creative, do something new with something old, and that's really what works. You know, you keep that tradition alive, like a wedding cake, for example. So you have your wedding tradition, and that's great, and it gives you kind of an anchor so it doesn't just seem whacked out. But at the same time, then you do something that nobody else has done before. And that's what a lot of these couples have done that I have taken photographs of. There's a whole Halloween wedding where they took our banquet room and just decorated it all the way with, you know, spider webs and all kinds of things like that. I even dressed up looking like Jason before their wedding, so you can even see that. Marriage licenses. I mean, what could be more plain than a marriage license? It's just basically an official document. You sign it. But sometimes people like to sprinkle flowers around them or put a bouquet next to it or do something to make it beautiful so that the signing of the license is a little more beautiful. Here's a bride, you know, the tradition of hiding until you come down the aisle and then the bride finally gets to see the groom and vice versa. Well, this bride decided to come down the aisle while the groom was blindfolded completely. And so she comes up and removes the blindfold. I've never seen that before. I thought that was really clever. There's some great cake ideas that are on here. And color ideas. I mean, here I had a pretty in pink wedding a couple months ago where the bridesmaids are in pink, the cake is pink. I mean, it was pink, pink, pink everywhere. It was absolutely amazing. I have some beautiful things in here that are just like lovely bouquets, a heart-shaped bouquet. There's a chocolate fountain in here that just looks absolutely gorgeous, and a chocolate fountain is a big hit because people love sugar, especially at weddings. This is where people let themselves go, and they don't have to care about their diet because it's a wedding day. It's a friend's wedding. There's a wedding couple that after their wedding they got on a pedicab and they rode a pedicab around. You can see that here. My brother Frank actually is a pedicab driver, so that was fun. Memorials that take place. This is a more serious thing, but if you have a parent or a grandparent and you want to remember them, you can put a rose up on the altar for them, a photograph of them, or both. And then candles, special memorial candles for people that you love in your life. So just kind of be aware of that. Sometimes there are funny things that happen in weddings. For example, you know, the groom, the best man had the rings, and the best man, instead of just producing two small rings, came out with this huge ring about this size and handed it to the groom. It's actually so big it could fit over his wrist, and everybody got a good laugh out of that. Then they got the real rings after that. I don't know what makes M&Ms so popular, but they are very, very popular snacks in the different colors. And here's a great idea for a change in the pattern too. Unity M&Ms. You're familiar with Unity candles, Unity sand. We got pictures here. What a couple did, they had 5 kids between them, and each kid had a different color of M&Ms. They all poured them into a big vase together, and that was their Unity M&M ceremony for the entire family. And then the kids got to eat M&Ms all afternoon, so they were really happy about that. They thought that was pretty great. We have situations where clothespins are used sometimes to hold, for example, the list of where you're going to be sitting in the reception hall and that sort of thing. We have some really nice place settings that I think are quite unique, and lots of handmade things that are here as well. And locations for wedding photos. Here's a picture of Marilyn Monroe. This actually takes place in Chicago, but it's absolutely unique, and the bride is standing with her bridesmaids under this statue of Marilyn Monroe. What do kids look like in ceremonies? And traditional wedding ceremony ideas also can be done if you have people who are into cross-stitching and that sort of thing. There's a beautiful cross-stitched wedding ring pillow here that's just absolutely wonderful. Quilters, they can do things that are beautiful, and quilts can be given as gifts from family to family. We have pictures of that. People who consider themselves honeys, they have little honeybees with bits of, you know, with little jars of honey, and there's a picture of that. there's so many things here that I think, you know, if you go through this, you'll just get one idea after another after another. Here's a guy that decided he wanted to wear a hat during the wedding, and I suggested he take the hat off and hold it over his heart while the bride walked down the aisle. And so you get to see a picture of that moment. It's a really special one. Special cakes for bridesmaids parties and bridesmaids gatherings, that kind of thing, and very, very unique ways to do invitations, including, by the way, chocolate invitations, where you engrave the invitation on a piece of chocolate and send that out. So take a look at my Pinterest sometimes. I think it'll be fun for you to watch. Thank you so much for being a part of Foothills Chapel and looking at some of my Pinterest stuff with me.